Tonight on Really Real Sports, we highlight the lives of three men striving to be the best at what they do. Our first story is about a young man pushed away from the North Shore in pursuit of a new kind of wave, couch surfing, Italy. Our second story follows another man through the depths of Tennessee, where he struggles to stay at the top of his sport. Critics claim he's full of hot air. You be the judge. And finally, our show concludes with the heartfelt story of a British man whose career in rugby is all but wrapped up.
Live from HBO Studios, here's your host, Brian Mumble.
Good evening, and welcome to Really Real Sports. In the heat of summer, self-proclaimed professional couch surfer Brad Turbler is attempting to make a name for himself by bringing his sport to the mainland. Turbler's pipe dreams rest upon the abundance of abandoned couches in the small college town of Santa Cruz, California. Despite his recent success in the community, Turbler fails to receive the recognition he deserves for his sport, most likely because of the internet sensation you may be familiar with. In a recent visit to Santa Cruz, our Milton Bigsby gives us an inside look at Turbler's innovative sport.
Yeah, dude, so we found this couch here, so looks like we've got a nice little session ahead of us. Got my bros, we're gonna get done.
So, Turbler, what exactly is couch surfing, and what are these spots you speak of?
Well, I mean, ultimately, man, like, couch surfing's not just a sport, it's a lifestyle, and it's a way for me to connect with my surroundings, you know? Like, these spots, I call them spots, but they're spots where I connect with the community, where I connect with my neighbors.
Really?
You know? And that's something I think that everyone should be doing. You know, my homies here, they respect me, they respect couch surfing. Dude, there's like, every couple weeks, you know, there's new kids showing up, and new kids rolling around the block, you know, asking me to take them out and show them the spots, show them what's good around town. And, you know, that's a good sign, because, you know, in the North Shore, that wasn't really happening.
This couchsurfing.com issue, what is this all about, and what is your real problem with them?
Dude, that's a really sore subject for me, the couchsurfing.com. So, when they were making their domain name, I was the only thing that came up when they typed it in.
Really?
And I worked really hard on that website. It was the first website I ever made. And it was, my baby sister helped me do it, and they took it away. They thought they were better. And now when I tell my friends, when I go out to downtown, they cockroach. They confuse me. They think I'm a lazy bum that goes from house to house, man. Dude, that's why I every day I go out, because I want to change that, man. I've got my truck, got some couches, got this right here. This is keeping me grounded, keeping me going, you know. But just riding those couches every day, you know, one couch to another, one block, one foot in front of the other.
Turbler, I think the real question on everyone's mind is, why Santa Cruz? Why did you bring this sport here?
It's actually Turbler. Well, like, in June, in September, it's really like the best times in Santa Cruz anyway for couch surfing. You know, you got these huge swells coming in, sometimes from the south, sometimes, you know, from the bay, wherever. And you know, like, people are moving out, all these couches are going out on the curbs. You got these huge influxes of couches, you know, roadside, and I gotta take the opportunity, man. And you know, there's no place like it. This university offers no opportunity like I've ever seen. Even in Hawaii, man, you know, there's a lot of couches out there, but nothing compared to Santa Cruz, and that's why I'm here. That's why I know that this is a place to make couch surfing real. They call me Brad Lazy Boy Turbulus, so I wanted to show you guys extra glory on the Lazy Boy itself. You know, these are a rare commodity these days, especially in the world of couch surfing. You know, I can show you some tricks. You know, because these things are really pliable. They do, you know, they react. You really plop into these things and take them for a ride. Take them for a backwards ride. So if I can make this guy go backwards like that, you know, you can get the leg extensions, full extension, and you get back up. Sucks my friends aren't out here. My homies aren't out here to do this right now. All right, wait till this car passes and we'll show another one. Chin splitter. Sometimes you can get some cool reverb action going on here. Let's see how she does. Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. There it is. Ooh, get the jaw biter. Get the jaw biter. Hold on. Let me get it. Here we go. Nope. Oof. Man, it's rough out there today. You know? Strong current. Strong current. I'm gonna nail this one. Landed clean. Nothing cleaner than that. Woo! Yeah! Radical. Look at that, tore the top right off that thing. Fuck you. After I'm done with the couch, or with the, especially Lazy Boys in particular, I like to put the chair back where it was. Well, all these people are giving me a hard time. They don't even know what I'm about. But yeah, you know, so someone else can come up and do what they do best, and that's a wrap.
So this young Turbler fella, quite an interesting one, would you say?
I would actually. And before I start, Brian, I have to clarify that he was very adamant about pronouncing his name Turbler. And yes, he was quite an interesting fella. You know, he started off a little bit hesitant to talk to me, but then he opened up and started explaining his...
Hesitant?
Yes, hesitant. He was a little standoffish. It seems like he's been through some rough things, especially back in Hawaii. And, you know, I think I opened up to him, and I think I really understand his goal at spreading couch surfing as a sport around California, particularly Santa Cruz right now. And I think he feels...
Goal like a soccer goal?
No, his goal, his life goal, his dream, you know, his pipe dreams to be exact. He has strong ambitions for such a young kid moving to such a strange, different place.
In your interview, you talk a lot about the sensation of the internet-based website couchsurfers.com, where people stay for free at strangers' houses, and they call it couch surfing. What is the dilemma, and what are the obstacles that the young gentleman, Turbler, is faced to overcome because of this pre-existing website?
Well, Brian, I believe that he's got quite a lot of obstacles ahead of him. You know, economic issues are probably the biggest one. You know, his whole philosophy is, you know, live by the couch, die by the couch, and his heart is all he really needs. So, in that sense, you know, I think this website has quite an upper hand in the economic sense. You know, other than that, you know, I think he is struggling to find himself as a person.
What's the game changer in this scenario?
Well, I think he has the potential to do quite great things with the sport. You know, it depends on if he sticks with this passion and, you know, his charisma. I think he can, you know, really change the game and, you know, maybe put this sport on the map, and one day we might even see it in the Olympics.
Well, that was just great, Milton. We really appreciate it. Our next story tonight follows the life of a man in Chattanooga, Tennessee, who's the champion of his sport, the sport of farting. Like darts, it's a sport where you shoot a dart. But unlike darts, you fart the dart. Our Leon chronicles the story.
Bobo? What? Time is. Oh, y'all are here already. Great. Well, welcome to my room. I'm so glad you could make it. Let me get up. This is so rude of me. So rude of me. Pardon. Got my boss not here to see this. Oh, well, good afternoon. I'm Billy Bo. Pleasure to meet y'all. Here, as you see, is my pleasant abode place, kind of where I hang out, practice my farts. Employee of the month, right there. Second month in a row, baby. I'm proud. Anyway, why don't we come inside? We can have some lemonade and sit down and talk.
So, Billy Bo, can you please show us how you fought Dot in your little garage studio here?
I mean, what you want me to?
Please demonstrate for us.
I mean, I guess I could show you my secrets, but Grandma always said that film would take your soul away, and I hope it don't do that. All right, we'll try some for us right here, I guess. Papa always said getting your shorts up helps get the flow, you know, helps with the flow up and out, up and out, up and out. Who?
Well, first off, it's very nice to have you here, Bobo. You know, inviting me into your home here. I'd like to start you off with a couple questions. How did you get started in fart dotting? You know, what's the basis behind this?
Yeah, my poppy, he's the real reason I got started here in the fart competitions. You know, I grew up around farts, and I grew up around hearing that name on the loudspeaker. You know, King of the Farts, Bobo Billy Bo, Bobo Billy Bo, Bobo Billy Bo. You know, and you know, it was my name, so I felt like I was winning, but it was my poppy. So when I grew up, you know, when I was small, you know, I didn't have the power that he had. You know, but once I hit the puberties, then, you know, I really got set. You know, and my career in farts really took off, and man, that was exciting time. That was good times for everyone, and yeah, it was great. But unfortunately, my pappy passed away. You know, not 8 1/4 years ago. I keep account of every day because, you know, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to everyone, all of us Bobos. But, you know, every fart has a little bit of him in me. You know, I ate his ashes, so every fart I took would have a little bit of oomph from that pappy. You know, that pappy push is what I like to call it.
So, Bobo, how do you get such powerful farts?
The darndest things I done seen on this side of my nephew's tuchus is, you know, that some of these youngins,
they're using these performance enhancing beans. You know, the beans, they got the all sciencey, and, you know, with the genes moving around, not like this kind of gene, but the other kind. I want to spread the word of good bean, you know, of this kind of bean, of real bean, of really real bean, you know, kind of like your guys' city show. But, yeah, that's enough about beans. Gotta get back to my farting.
Billy Bo, you are the 5-time Chattanooga State World Champion. Tell us about this experience and what this is really like for you.
Oh, you want to ask about the Tennessee Chattanooga County State World Championship now? Well, let me tell you, the Tennessee Chattanooga County State World Championship was the best time of my life, especially in 2011. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! That shit was out of this world, let me tell you. All right, we had my friend and brother, and I mean, he's my cousin, my nephew. He goes right on down the line. But his name's also Bobo Billy Bo. Let me tell you. So when you can understand when the competition was going on, there was some confusion as to whether I was winning or whether he was winning or I was shooting or he was shooting or what was going on. No one even knew. We barely even knew. But somehow I came out victoriously victorious in that here Tennessee Chattanooga County State World Championship. And yeah, my grandkids will be talking about it, and hopefully their grandkids will be talking about it. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
So some say you treat your dartboard like your baby. Is this true? Do you take it everywhere with you?
Well, now, it's funny you asked me that, because I got the dartboard right here. Some call it dartboard, some call it fartboard, but I call it my baby. Anyway, yeah, I carry it around. I carry my, you know, my fart board brush around to keep her all nice, keep her dust free, make sure the, you know, farts are sticking in there nicely. You really want to make sure there's no debris on any of the surfaces here. You know, you want to be safe, you know, practice safe farts is what I like to always tell the kids. But yeah, here she is. She's my beauty. Get 20 up. That's what I always like to say. 20 up. 20 up in live action.
So that's 5 Chattanooga State World Championships.
Chattanooga County State World Championships, to be exact.
And Chattanooga, this is Tennessee.
Yes, that is correct, Tennessee.
Bobo Billy Bo Sr., what was his impact on Bobo Billy Bo Jr.?
Yes, it was actually quite a touching story. You know, he really does look up to his father a lot, and you know, the fact that his father passed away not too long ago did bring a tear to my eye. But you know, he really does carry on his legacy through this fart darting competition, and you know, he is the 5-time world champion in Chattanooga, and you know, I think he feels like he has succeeded in life by carrying on his legacy of his father and this very unusual sport.
It seems the young man really enjoys this dartboard of his, doesn't he?
Yes, he
Excuse me, fartboard.
That's quite funny, Brian, but yes, he does love his dartboard quite a lot. You know, it actually was quite startling when he took it out in the middle of the interview and started brushing it with a brush like it was some sort of baby or pet animal. It was quite bizarre. I've never seen anything like that. Even golf players or basketball players with the prized possessions. I've never seen anything quite like that.
Thanks, Leon. That story was quite a gas. In our third and final segment tonight, we follow the life of a man wrapped up in the world of rugby, although it might not be the rugby you're familiar with. Our Beatrix LaFonda follows the story.
We're before we start the interview, I'd like to do a little warm-up that we do in rugby. If you'd like to join me. Like to join me? Yes? Alright then. Well, you have to cross your legs like this. Get your legs crossed, please. Come on. Alright, here we go. And you can say it with me now. Ruggy puggy puggy poo, ruggy puggy poogie poo. That's how I start every time I rugby. I have to say that, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It just reminds me of why I'm here and the sport I'm part of, and yeah, it's important to chant, especially in rugby. Alright, I have some questions for me then, I guess. It says here that you were born in the Taj Mahal. Is that true? So rugby, you see, was actually invented in India, and that's where I was born. You see, the Taj Mahal. My father and my mother were on vacation there, and my mother went into labor in the Taj Mahal, which is a very rare occurrence for them apparently. Most people wouldn't be on vacation in their third trimester, yet my mother was the adventurous type like myself. And so rugby actually originated there somehow, even though the rug trade was actually originating in the Middle East. But so people there were practicing, you know, yoga, and they were meditating, and they had found that the tightness, the security of the rug had helped them to eliminate the insecurities of the world outside of the rug. So in that spirit now, rugby was born. In a glorious beginning. I had to pause for a second to just admire that story. Anyway, that's how rugby came to be, but my story of rugby might be a little different. You see, my story of rugby originates as a story of failure in one respect. You know, my father was a rugby player back in England, and I dreamed of being a rugby player, but I was too small. You know, I have small bones. Contracted a disease where I have small bones. I'll never get bigger. You know, they're just brittle. So rugby helps to keep me safe. And I found that when I was 10. I was in the hospital, and they had a little class there on rugby for all the kids that couldn't do the more aggressive sports. But so I found it, and it's really a martial art. It's really, you know, up there with taekwondo, aikido, you know, really focusing the brain, the spiritual side of our bodies, which is something that I haven't found in other places. I was really curious about your claustrophobia and how that affected your rugby game. Claustrophobia was awful, you know, not to be confused with my wife Claudia Sophia, but claustrophobia hit me hard, you know. It put me out of the game, right off, you know. 19, top of my game, top of my rugby game, and the claustrophobia came in. So, it seems like you're like out on the street and kind of laying around. Does that cause you any trouble? Like, do you ever get arrested, or what's the story behind that? Oh yes, many times. I mean, some places they call it trespassing, apparently. You know, trying to just rugby in someone's yard, rugby in a bank, rugby, you know, just in the gutter. They think I'm drunk or something. But why can't a man rugby any way he pleases? That's all I ask of anyone. So let me rugby where I want, especially after all I've been through. You know, I haven't been able to rugby for so long, but now I'm back in it. I'm back in it, ain't it? It's wonderful. Is this just going on in London, or is it going on in other places too? Yeah, well, I mean, of course not. You know, it's all around the world. It started in India and it's made it all the way to England. So you know, it's all in between there, and in Southeast Asia, and you know, China, Japan. It's all around. I have friends in all these countries. But you know, it's hard. It's hard to get by as a rugby player. You know, I tell people I'm a rugby player and they mistake me for a big rugby player. They say, how can you do that? You're so little, you're so skinny. But, you know, I even, you know, I have rugby balls all around my room even, you know, so they come in, they're a little confused when I have girls over, they're a little confused. But, you know, that was my dad's old rugby ball, and so I have that here, and, you know, I have other rugby things, so it's understandable, but, you know, my practices are about rugbying, and that's what's important to me. That's what I'm passionate about. It seems like rugby's given you a lot. Like, is there anything, like, what do you think is the best thing that you've learned from all of these years of being in a rep? I think one of the most important things that I've learned through rugby is how to step back from my life, how to step back from the lens that I have here, and understand the larger picture. That's something that I think a lot of these sports, these martial arts, a lot of these meditative sports like yoga, they help you to do that. And that's not something that many of us get to do these days. I feel snug in a rug, like a bug, but it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Now, let me tell you, the key to rugby is to follow the instructions truly. And the instructions are to forget about what's going on outside of the rug, and also what's going on inside of the rug. In your own rug. Let all of your worries wash away, your troubles, and your cares and intentions. Let them wash away. Let the rug consume them. And then you will see. You'll see how the world is woven.
What's the significance of this young man being born in the Taj Mahal?
Well, I think that his roots, you know, in India are really, really parallel his roots, or the roots of rugby in India. And it's really interesting for me to see how him and rugby kind of, you know, really develop alongside each other in that way. They're really, you know, in that dialectic relationship, which is amazing to see in sports. You know, you really don't get to see that every day.
There's been some problems in the past with the illegality of the sport. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, he has. He's run into a lot of trouble with the law. Actually, he
you know, he practices the sport in public and in sometimes obscure places, and, you know, I guess like that some people aren't comfortable with that.
So Nigel seemed aware of the possible confusion between his sport, rugby, and the already existing sport of rugby.
Well, you know, I think that he sees a connection between the two sports. I mean, obviously he sees the connection. His father was a rugby player himself. But, you know, he isn't too worried about the confusion factor, really. You know, he's interested in just letting, you know, the sport be, just like the sport asks its athletes to.
It seems a bit ironic that Nigel would become claustrophobic when his sport involved being wrapped up in a rug.
Yeah, it's so ironic that he contracted claustrophobia. You know, it really put him out of the game for a long time, which is so sad because, you know, rugby was something that he needed every day to get by. But through, you know, a lot of training and a lot of rugby, it's interesting that the rugby was the thing that helped him get through the claustrophobia, you know. It's just what allowed him to be through it. To be inside the rugby and to, you know, let the rugby inside of him.
Thank you, Beatrix. We really enjoyed that. That concludes tonight's episode on Really Real Sports. Join us next week where we follow a whole new set of sports stories. I'm Brian Mumble. Thank you for watching.